Welcome to Uniquely Civil War, a production of the George Tyler Moore Center for the Study of the Civil War at Shepherd University. Today, join your host, Dennis Frye, as we explore part of the South Mountain battlefield.
We often forget that Civil War soldiers usually have never been on the field where they're about to go into battle. This is unfamiliar territory. They don't know this place. This is a very strange and far away place. Here we are in these woods, and you're rushing through the woods. You know the enemy's out there. You know the enemy's approaching. You know the enemy's coming. You can't see them, but you can hear them. And as you're driving through the woods, and your officers are whispering to you, or just loud enough so that you can hear commands. Maintain line, let's go, let's go, let's go. All of a sudden, you see something. You see something in front of you. And it makes you, in a strange way, suddenly feel safe. Suddenly feel safe. You can see it. And that's where you go. The South Mountain battlefield here at Fox's Gap has changed very little since September 14th, 1862, almost 160 years ago now. But there is one big difference. The trees that you see here. These trees weren't here. And in fact, these trees represent fence lines. As you follow the trees, you can actually see what would be fence lines. And inside, enclosed within these tree lines today, are still the original stone fences that were here in 1862. Invisible today, but very visible to the Union soldiers who were advancing into this field, preparing to attack. Those stone walls. So the North Carolina troops of General Sam Garland that morning are here defending Fox's Gap. Now we're about maybe 500-600 yards from where the road crosses the gap, but they got word that the Federals, General Cox's division, 9th Corps, Burnside's men, are trying to flank them. So they're coming down into this area, this part of the field, heading south from Fox's Gap to try to stop this flanking maneuver. They see this wall. They find this wall in the woods. And out here in the open fields, the Federals are about to come. So they use this as a position of defense. They're going to crouch down behind the wall and wait. And this becomes a location of intense action that morning. I mean, we would have flame and smoke and noise. And one of the problems for the Confederate soldiers here is that pretty much they were under cover, but the bullets are coming in thick and fast from the Federals. And really the most exposed part of your body is your head. We have accounts telling us about so many head injuries, brain injuries that occur here for the Confederates because that's where it's exposed. So the wall is a good position of defense, but there's just too many Yankees out there. Cox's division outnumbers General Garland's North Carolina brigade. And again, this position is being defended by North Carolinians. 3-1. They can't hold. There's just too many Federals. And so eventually they'll withdraw from the wall and they'll head north towards Fox's Gap, and Cox's men will pursue, and it gets very quiet, with the exception of the wounded who are all around this wall. This wall, these stones, every stone, personal to me. You see, this wall at Fox's Gap, this wall here on the South Mountain battlefield, my great grandfather built this wall. This wall is my genius. This wall is me. My grandfather, four greats, Peter Beachley, built this wall with intention, with purpose. You see, it's not designed to be pretty. It's not designed to be an architectural piece of art. This is utilitarian. He's moving rocks out of fields because you see, my granddaddy Beachley owned a farm on top of South Mountain, and it was not good farmland. It was a rock field. And so for him to be able to cultivate the land, he moved these rocks and he built this wall. And it's likely a property line. My granddaddy's property over here on this side of the wall, someone else's property over here on this side of the wall. Here it is, original, not reconstructed, the real thing. This wall witnessed, these rocks experienced the Civil War as you see them today. The Battle of South Mountain begins in this vicinity, and much of it occurs here the morning of Sunday, September the 14th. There'll be a lull for much of the day, late morning, early afternoon, while more federal reinforcements are coming onto the field and more Confederates. General Lee is sending additional Confederates here to try to hold this position. Finally, by evening, as the final attacks occur with General Burnside's Corps, the 9th Corps, actually then under the command of General Jesse Reno, the Confederates just are able to barely hold on to a part of the mountain around the road where it crosses Fox's Gap. General Lee recognizes he's not going to be able to hold on, and that night he orders a withdrawal, and the Confederates will abandon South Mountain. This represents the first victory of the Army of the Potomac here, the first victory of George McClellan here. But they're not finished, because Lee's on the road to Sharpsburg, and McClellan will follow him, and soon we will battle along the Antietam Creek. When my grandfather Peter completed this wall, probably sometime in the 1840s, it had to be one of the happiest moments of his life. Finally, no more rocks to move. He could farm. So this represents happiness for my ancestor. But this wall soon becomes a place of terrible sadness. Too many men die here behind this wall. My granddaddy didn't build this wall to be on a battlefield. He didn't construct this so that Americans could fight Americans here. He didn't build this wall so Southerners could defend this position against Northern attackers. This wall was not built for a killing ground. But that's what makes this wall famous today. We killed each other here by the hundreds.
If you would like to visit the stone wall on South Mountain yourself, simply park by the Reno Monument and head about 600 yards south.